Interdisciplinary management and technology. Recognized as one of the top best-ranked institutes doesn't mean the finish line for ITS. To gain greater international recognition, ITS launched International Undergraduate Program. Students can get wider international exposure through 20 study programs they can apply. The chances are also open for professors from all over the world to teach and conduct research at ITS. These opportunities have made international joint research and other international activities successfully performed. Like IUP, students and lecturers from other programs have also contributed to the ITS achievements. Numerous appreciations earned exemplify Institute's excellent performance. But technology and
Oke, kita bisa mulai acara kita ya. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Saya ingin menyapa Mr. Liu Peong, selamat pagi, good morning. Bapak Hamdan, selamat pagi. Ibu Rahel, selamat pagi. Baiklah, selamat datang kepada para peserta di acara workshop kelas Open Access Publishing Option with IEEE Journals, Sharing Session for Authors. Acara ini ditujukan bagi sivitas akademika ITS, baik mahasiswa pasca sarjana, dosen maupun peneliti, yang ingin lebih mengenal tentang publikasi open access di jurnal-jurnal IEEE. Baiklah, sebelum acara dimulai, saya akan membacakan sedikit susunan acara pada pagi hari ini. Yang pertama adalah peserta registrasi, kemudian pembukaan, dilanjutkan dengan sambutan dari perwakilan Perpustakaan ITS, kemudian sesi pemaparan, kemudian sesi tanya jawab, dan terakhir adalah penutup. Baiklah, acara kita mulai aja ya. Sebelumnya, acara ini diselenggarakan secara hybrid. Peserta bisa hadir secara langsung di ruangan ini CCWS di lantai 1 atau melalui Zoom. Untuk para peserta akan mendapatkan sertifikat di akhir acara bagi yang sudah mengikuti sampai selesai dan mengisi form kehadiran. Baiklah, tak berlama-lama sambil menunggu peserta yang lain, acara kita awali dulu dengan membaca basmalah. Bismillahirrohmanirrohim. Kemudian selanjutnya adalah menyanyikan lagu Indonesia Raya, dilanjutkan dengan himne ITS. Kepada Bapak Tondo dipersilahkan.
Indonesia tanah airku, tanah tumpah darahku. Di sanalah aku berdiri, jadi pendirimu. Indonesia kebangsaanku, bangsa dan tanah airku. Marilah kita bersatu, Indonesia bersatu. Hiduplah tanahku, hiduplah negeriku, bangsaku, rakyatku semuanya. Bangunlah jiwanya, bangunlah badannya, untuk Indonesia Raya. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, tanahku, negeriku yang ku cinta. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, tanahku, negeriku yang ku cinta. Indonesia Raya, merdeka, merdeka, hiduplah Indonesia Raya. Tanahku yang ku cinta, ibu yang memberi tanah membara semangatmu, cita-citamu takkanmu. 10 November 45 mendorong menjiwaimu. Melangkahlah tujuan kemerdekaanmu yang baru. Membina bangsa atas dasar Pancasila dan Undang-Undang Dasar 45 landasan juangmu. Tanahku yang ku cinta, ibu yang memberi tanah kokoh denganmu membina putra-putrimu. Untuk teknologi yang canggih, berbudi anugerah cerdas, menuju kesejahteraan bangsa yang umat manusia. Bawalah tentukan turut impianmu, jadi pejuang yang takkan kenal kehilangan negeri.
Terima kasih, hadirin dipersilakan dulu. Baiklah, sebelum kita mulai sesi inti, mari kita dengarkan bersama sambutan dari perwakilan Perpustakaan ITS. Kepada yang terhormat Bapak Yusuf Hendra Dwi Kusuma, STMM, kami persilahkan.
Cik. Baik, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi Bapak Ibu sekalian. Selamat datang di CCWS, Perpustakaan ITS. Alhamdulillah pada kesempatan pagi hari ini kita diberikan kesempatan untuk berkumpul di acara workshop IEEE. Mohon izin, saya mewakili Pak Kapus, Pak Aksan, yang kebetulan pada hari ini ada pertemuan yang lain gitu. Pertama-tama saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih yang sebesar-besarnya kepada Bapak Ibu yang sudah hadir baik offline maupun online. Kemudian yang kedua kepada iGroup, Pak Ramdan dan Bu Iwi yang insya Allah siang ini akan menyusul datang ya Pak. Kemudian dari pihak IEEE, Mr. Alex and Mrs. Rahel, thank you very much for your presence and willingness to be a speakers today. Kemudian yang ketiga, yang tidak kalah penting, teman-teman dari perpustakaan yang telah mengarrange atau menginisiasi acara pada pagi hari ini sehingga dapat berjalan dengan lancar. Ada beberapa pesan yang ingin disampaikan atau yang telah disampaikan Pak Kapus kepada kami untuk kemudian disampaikan ke Bapak Ibu sekalian bahwasanya yang pertama, mohon dengan waktu yang singkat ini dapat memaksimalkan acara workshop sehingga nanti ilmu yang di-share oleh Mr. Alex dan Mrs. Rahel bisa maksimal gitu. Itu yang pertama. Kemudian yang kedua, terkait usage atau penggunaan IEEE Journal yang sudah dilanggan oleh ITS, harapannya bisa juga dimaksimalkan oleh teman-teman mahasiswa, barangkali digunakan untuk TA, tesis, dan juga disertasi, dan juga untuk Bapak Ibu dosen yang lain bisa digunakan untuk proses belajar mengajar dan juga ini penelitian, seperti itu. Baik, saya kira itu yang ingin kami sampaikan. Sebelum saya tutup, kami mohon maaf mewakili dari teman-teman panitia, barangkali nanti selama berjalannya acara ada beberapa kekurangan. Sekali lagi saya mohon maaf. Saya akhiri. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Pak Yusuf. Baiklah hadirin sekalian, saat yang kita nantikan telah tiba. Hari ini kita akan mendapatkan wawasan langsung dari seorang narasumber yang luar biasa, Bapak Alex Liu Peng, sebagai manajer Client Service Asia IEEE, yang kali ini akan dimoderatori oleh Bapak Deden Ramdhani selaku Account Eksekutif Spesialis IEEE iGroup. Beliau akan membagikan informasi penting terkait program Open Access dari IEEE, proses pengajuan dan pasca acceptance. Kemudian juga akan memberikan kita daftar jurnal IEEE yang tersedia untuk OE, kemudian dukungan dari IEEE dalam mempromosikan publikasi ilmiah. Baiklah, sekali lagi saya sampaikan bahwa acara ini dilangsungkan secara hybrid. Jadi tanpa berpanjang kata, mari kita sambut Bapak Alex Liu Peng dan Bapak Ramdhani. Silakan. Terima kasih sebelumnya. Waktu dan tempat kami persilakan.
Baik, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih semuanya. Perkenalkan, nama saya Ramdan. Saya adalah saya dari I Group, agen dari IEEE di Indonesia. Sebelumnya kepada yang terhormat Bapak Agus Santoso Esos, mmed.com, Kepala Perpustakaan Institut Teknologi 10 November. Kepada yang terhormat Bapak Yusuf Hendra Dwi Kusuma, STMM, Kasubag Tata Usaha Institut Teknologi 10 November. Sincerely, Miss Rachel Barrington, MLS, Director of IEEE Client Service, and then Alex Liu Yupeng, Manager of Client Service, IEEE in Asia. So I'm Ramdan. As I mentioned before, I'm Ramdan from I Group. We are agents of IEEE in Indonesia. And on these occasions, please allow me to be the moderator for this event. Thank you for ITS, for Institute Teknologi 10 November, for its willingness to hold the sharing sessions about open access publishing options with IEEE Journal, sharing sessions for the authors. Hopefully after this event, we can understand better about what we need to know about to become an author in IEEE Explorer. Okay, before we start sharing the session, allow me to inform you that Rachel and Alex will be delivered the session for 1 hour. And after that, there will be a QA. For those who ask questions, there will be an interesting gift from us, a little bit information about today's speaker. Miss Rachel Barrington, MLS, is Director of IEEE Client Service. Ms. Rachel is Director, a team of international information professionals responsible for global customer outreach, awareness, and training programs for IEEE Explore. And then Mr. Alex Lee Yupeng, he is the Client Service Manager for Asia for IEEE, from IEEE. Alex was an academic librarian before from National University of Singapore. And with 9 years of experience, wow, that's a long time. Okay. Okay, without further ado, supaya tidak berlama-lama, kita langsung saja memberikan waktunya kepada Miss Rachel dan Alex untuk berbicara. Alex, are you ready? Or
Yep.
There will Miss Rachel?
I will start first.
Okay.
Mic testing.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking your time to join today's session. This has to be very close. Is it? Testing. Okay. My name is Alex. I'm the manager for client services at IEEE. As Mr. Ramdan has shared, I work together with Mr. Ramdan to support our customers in Indonesia. I also travel around Asia to provide similar supports, like today's sharing session for our researchers, for our students. So allow me to start my presentation with an interactivity. For those who are participating online, just to check whether you can receive my audio clearly. For those who are here, you can actually scan the QR code. Oh, that's pretty small. Zoom. Yeah. No, you have to talk to them. Can you make it bigger? Perfect. Thank you so much. So, no. Okay. No. Okay. Let me try this. Alternatively, you can just visit this website, menti.com, and you'll be asked for a code of. Right. There's a code on top, which is, you just open a browser, go to menti.com. You will be able to find a box asking you for a code. I'm just sharing this with our participant online. Yeah, you can enter the code 98708244. For those who are at the back, are you able to scan? No. Does it work? Yes? Sorry, how come is this page? My apologies. Okay, I should hide this. Yeah. Yeah, I'm hiding the response. So this is one of the questions I would like to hear from everyone. What are the things you would like to know from today's session? The topic is open access publishing options with IEEE journals. We do have quite a lot of things to share, but what we have is not the most important. The most important is what are the questions that you have in mind, or what are your priorities of information you need to know from us. We are going to cover the whole process. For example, identifying journal or conferences, the difference between a journal and conference, and of course, when it comes to manuscript preparation, submission, peer review process, and how to deal with open access publishing. So there's a lot of things. Think about the things that you would like to share. You would like to know. So let me return to the first slide. Yeah. This is a question, especially for online participants. Can you please participate as well? Can you use the chat box? Oh, you don't have the Zoom, right? You can see the chat. Okay, cool. So for our online participants, you can enter the URL, enter the code, you'll be able to participate as well. We have 61 online, plus about 10 of us here. So there should be 70 plus. Okay, majority of us are actually PhD students, and I understand for our university, which is also across the universities in Indonesia, we are required to publish Scopus Index articles. One of the things for us, IEEE, is if you are publishing with IEEE journal or conferences, you have that piece in mind because our journal publication and conference publication are indexed in IEEE Explore, as well as big major indexing services such as Scopus, Web of Science, and all this. The next one is, what's the name of this university? I know it's ITS. What's the name of it? Some of you are asking, like, really, Alex, what are we doing here? You will be finding very interesting answers. ITS is one of them. Let's see if we can get a. Oh, we do have friends coming from University of Brawijaya, Universitas Brawijaya. Right? Interesting. Let's see how many answers we can get. Okay. Other than Universitas Brawijaya and ITS, IATS, the rest is actually our school, IATS. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We are coming from 8 different schools. Obviously not, right? So keep in mind of this slide, because in later part, yes, we finally, not fully correct, but still, keep in mind of our university name. I will come back to this topic because when it comes to publishing, one of the important factors is, yes, we need to report our research findings, our research results, but another thing is we also want our names to be out there. You want other researchers to know who did this research, which institution was this research originated from, isn't it? So it comes to a very simple question is, what is our name? The name of the university, the name of the department, and of course, the name of the author, which is ourselves. So have you ever thought of normally how do you write your name? When you submit to one journal, when you submit to another conference, are you using the same name? And how do we ensure that we are using a unique name throughout the way? Because different conference, different journal, they may have different requirement of filling in the names. Some of the journal they will say is last name, comma, first name. Some is first name, space, last name. So how do we write it? The same goes for our university name. The next one is, what's your research area or research interest? This is trying to understand which department or faculty you are coming from. You can still join using the same code on top of the screen. It's being covered. Or you can just scan the QR code. Yeah. So we have system, renewable energy, power and energy, HCI, human-computer interaction, biomedic, Earth data science. Let me close this. Computer vision, which is a strong subject when it comes to AI and machine learning. SCM, supply chain management, electro, detonator industry. This is very specialized. Biomedic interconnection, civil engineering, quality control AI. We do have quite some friends coming from biomedics, electrical antenna, environmental science, food technologies, and biochemistries. As you can see, we have very diverse subjects. I'm proud to say that almost everything that we have listed here are covered by IEEE Explore, with the focus on STEM, science, technology, engineering, medicine, mathematics, management. So that's the core of IEEE. And the next one is about your experience of using databases or search engines or platforms. Have you been using some database, search engine, platforms for your studies and research? You can still scan the QR code to participate. For online participants, my suggestion is please participate, not just watch for other people's answers. We have 3 answers so far. 4. If the QR code does not work, you can use the numbers on top. You go to this website, menti.com, you'll be asked for a code. Okay, let's take a quick look. Google Scholar, Scopus, Kaggle. We do have users from IEEE Explore and others. Oh, yeah. That's not a database. So, the next one is, how long have you been using IEEE Explore? If your aim is to publish with IEEE, once your paper is published, the paper will be indexed in IEEE Explore Digital Library, which is where your paper will be found by other researchers as well. So if your aim is to publish, my humble suggestion is, let's start reading first. We want to read the papers that has already been published. So most of us have heard of it, but have not used it, which is all right. In the live demonstration later, I will share with you about IEEE Explore platform and some of the key functions that helps you to identify, prioritize most relevant literature review references for you to start your research, and of course, to understand the levels, the conferences, the scope, quality of the research that IEEE is publishing. Have you published any paper with any publishers before? This can be journals or conferences. It can be a local journals or conferences organized here. It can also be conferences from global publishers, journals, conferences, etc. So majority of us, you already have experience of publishing journals, conferences, or even both. And this is fantastic. Even if you have not started yet, today's session will share with you the foundations, the starting point of preparing a paper for a journal, for a conference. What's the requirement? What's the difference? And what are the tools that can help you to get started? And the next one is about open access, because today's key focus is about open access publishing. Are you familiar with open access? Have you heard of it? And the last one is just for fun. But of course, if you have not heard of it, please agree with me. As you might have seen in the past 9 minutes, I'm not quite a serious person. I try to make my session interactive, so please feel free to join. Great. Half of us, more than half of us knows how it works. So there will be some questions about open access later. And have you published any open access articles? Whether it's from IEEE, other publishers, or both? Oh, we do have friends publish open access with us. Thank you so much. Yes. And the next one is the one which I accidentally started. What are the things you like to know from today's sharing session? I will leave this question open. Please feel free to fill in the questions throughout the session. The purpose is to make sure that we are here to answer your urgent questions, your important questions at this stage of research. And of course, we hope our sharings from today's session will be helpful for your continuous study and research. Maybe not now, but at least maybe in the future, once your research is done, you can still recall what we shared today to make use of it. So let me stop the session, this presentation here, and we'll start our official presentation. Let's see. The topic for today is open access publishing options with IEEE Journals, a sharing session for ITS authors. We do have a lot of things to cover. We'd like to start with an introduction to IEEE and IEEE Explore Digital Library, briefly discuss about the difference between a journal and a conference. Because today we do have quite a portion of participants coming from a master or PhD studies. We'll also talk about open access publishing options. The manuscript preparation will quickly go through it because majority of you have some sort of publishing experience, right? More than 60%. The focus will be on the submission and peer review process and the author journey for OA publishing, especially for journals. And of course, we'll also discuss about the resources for authors with Q&As and discussions. So to start the introduction of IEEE and IEEE Explore, I would like to invite our Director for Client Services, Ms. Rachel Barrington, to share with you the history of IEEE, what we are doing, and how we can assist our authors in your journey of research and publications.
Okay, great. We only have 1 hour.
Yes.
We have to do a lot in 1 hour. So we're going to keep this very focused. Listen, ask questions online, ask questions maybe at the end, I think, perhaps, because it's going to be a lot of information shared. So again, you've heard me introduced about 12 times. I'm with IEEE, and IEEE is a nonprofit membership organization, 500,000 members around the world. We were founded in 1884. Thomas Edison was actually one of our founding members. He is the inventor of what? Thomas Edison. Anyone know? What is it? Light bulb. Yeah, so 1884 was when the first electrical congress in Philadelphia. Then in 1912, the Institute for Radio Engineers, Marconi, the Titanic, very big technology, it became telecommunications. And then in 1963, a merger of both of these associations and became the Institute for Electrical and Electronics Engineers, or IEEE. We are based in the United States, but we are absolutely a global organization, and our mission is to advance technology for humanity. We have a lot of different activities that we're involved with: membership, technical societies, conferences, about 2,000 conferences a year. Of course, we're going to talk mostly today about journal publishing. We have a lot of journals, but also standards. So there's standards that are very popular, being used the world over, such as 802.11. That's the Wi-Fi standard. That is an IEEE standard. Here's a list of all of the kinds of things that we're involved with. Right now, we have a lot of new journals, new titles every year. So please check out IEEE Explore to see if there is a new journal in your technology, and sign up for a table of contents alert so you can start to track what is being published in your area. Here's an idea. Obviously, we're a publisher, so we have to be competitive. We want to be your home for your research, and to make sure that this is a good place to publish, you want to publish in some place that has impact. And the impact factor just shows the value of the journal. How often is it cited by other sources? And we are the top cited publisher in many of these areas that you see right here on the screen. We also have top quartile publications in electrical engineering, telecom, automation, and control. I saw a lot of robots in that video at the beginning, so I know that you all are probably very involved in robotics and control systems, imaging science, and then cybernetics. Here is a list of new journals from 2024 and 2025. These are right now on Explore, many of them on IEEE Explore. Your library subscribes to IEEE Explore. You have access to the full text through your subscription. And then conferences, I think, are so important for students. A lot of times, research that is not quite complete yet is presented at an IEEE conference. New technology, very, very cutting edge information at IEEE conferences. Here's just a snapshot of some of the conferences from 2024. So I will be back at the scary part, the ethics part, but maybe not. We'll see how Alex does with the time crunch, but thank you for your attention. I'm going to give it back to Alex.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Rachel. The next portion, we will briefly go through our publications with IEEE. And this part, I think we all should thank our librarians, thank our researchers, our professors, faculties, because they are the dominating authors coming from our universities. In fact, our university has been publishing with IEEE for more than quarter of a century, 1999. So with over 3,000 publications, ITS is one of the leading universities in Indonesia as a whole country publishing with IEEE. About 96% are actually coming from conferences, which is common across the board. But we do have 123 journal publications, out of which 92 of them are OA. They are published as open access, which counts about 75% of all the journal publications, plus a few magazine articles as well. So as you can see, our researchers are publishing in open access with IEEE as a dominating form for journal publications. This is the first one. It's actually a conference paper in 1999, and the two authors, they are international collaborations. One of them is obviously from us. Another one is one of the National Polytechnic from France as well. So it shows international collaboration is nothing new for us. We started more than a quarter of a century ago. And this is the latest publication, which is just published 3 months ago, right? January 2025. And as you can see, it's published in this journal called IEEE Access, which is our flagship multidisciplinary open access journal. So our authors are publishing the latest research in open access with our open access journals. And these are the list of authors. This is a collaboration between our university and UA as well, Erlangen, right? So these are the 5 authors. These are the top author list. Can you find some familiar names? Our librarians as well. I'm sure they're very familiar names, right? We'll highlight a few of them, but as you can see, the number of publications from our professors are tremendous. Over 200, over 100 publications. And of course, if you look at our top 10 publication topics from our universities, you will realize that out of the top 10, except the number 10, which is power system, which is power and energy research, the top 9 of them are actually related to machine learning, artificial intelligence, this kind of research, which is an emerging research topic. It shows the trend for our research coming from our university is in line with what the world's technology is going to. Right? AI is a hot topic. I'm sure everybody is talking about it, and that's what our researcher is doing. This is one of the top researchers, and professor has been publishing since 2008. And look at the number of co-authors. He has been collaborating with more than 368 co-authors to publish his 200 plus papers. So collaboration is important. And look at his publication topic is very diverse as well. And he's an IEEE member. Another professor, the same, publishing since 1996. He's an IEEE senior member. And he has been collaborating with more than 400 co-authors to conduct his research. And he has joint appointment from Department of Electrical Engineering and Computer Engineering. This is another researcher. His publication starts from 2013, relatively shorter, but again, the number of citation is also very high, over 500, a lot of collaborations. The most cited paper is a conference paper published about 10 years ago, 149 citations. These are the 2 authors. An original research from our university, but highly cited. The second research highly cited paper is a journal article published 14 years ago. And the number 3 is again a conference paper. And not only our publications are cited by research papers, they are also cited by patent, innovation, intellectual properties. So this research was published 14 years ago. Paper citation is only 7, but number of patent citations is 2. And if you look at these 2 patent citations, it's talking about cellular systems, noise cancellation, interference cancellation. And if you look at the owners of these 2 patents, the current assignee is Qualcomm. I'm sure we all use mobile phones, right? The cellular chips from most of our mobile phones are either from Qualcomm, MediaTek, and Samsung. These are the 3 top ones. TSMC manufacture them. Qualcomm is one of the world's leading chip, especially when it comes to communication, manufacturers, designers. So as you can see, a research coming from our university was referred to by innovators from Qualcomm to develop their technologies. So from research to innovation to intellectual properties. Similar case, another paper, which is conference paper, a lot of paper citation, 2 patent citation. You look at the current assignee is Panasonic intellectual properties from Japan. Research is coming from Indonesia. Innovation, intellectual property was conducted in Japan with reference to research done at our universities. This is another patent which cites the same paper, and this company is based in Germany. They manufacture the solar panels. I will briefly go through the publishing choices in terms of journals and conferences, especially for our master and PhD students who have not published any paper yet. I'll just quickly explain the difference between a journal and conference. The key difference is, as a researcher, if my research is not completed, I'm still working on it, I don't have the final answers, then there's only one choice for me, which is we have to publish as a conference paper, because a journal paper will require you to report your final finding, final solution, and conclusions with all the research data that prove or disprove your hypothesis. So if your goal is published in a journal, you have to make sure that your research is done. But of course, IEEE provides both of them. We have to also decide which one we want to go. For example, if my aim is to publish with a journal, I have to make sure that when my research is done, once my paper is published, it shows the quality of my research. However, the challenge is, if my aim is to publish in a top-ranking journal, then I have to be prepared for the fierce competition. Top-ranking journal, highly selective. It requires a high-level research, high impact of the research. While for conferences, we need to make sure that there's a message from chat. Yeah, I don't know what's that. Yeah. So for conferences, it's required for you as an author to present your paper at the conference. It's not like my conference paper is accepted. That's it. My paper will be published. That's not the case. You have to go there, register, participate, present the conference, then the paper has to be published. So if your aim is to publish with a conference, do talk to your professors about whether you are having the enough funding support from your research group for attending the conferences. And because if you do not present the paper, your paper will not be indexed in Explore, it will not be indexed in Scopus. IEEE has both options, journals and conferences. The difference is, today we are talking about open access. And just now you were sharing that most of you are familiar with open access. May I invite someone from our audience to share a little bit about your understanding of open access? Anyone? We got gift and present for you from our audience. What is open access? Guys are very shy. And we have a friend who is playing computer games. Just kidding. So for IEEE, we have three major categories of publications. Let me talk about the last one, which is full open access journals. These are the journals in which all the papers, every single paper is published as open access. Open access means it's open for readers to read. As a reader, you do not require subscription, but the author has to manage, or rather has to engage the service from the publishing house to assist him with the typesetting, editing, processing the paper, hosting, broadcasting, marketing the paper, make the paper available to global readers. So for those kind of service, they do need to pay this thing called article processing charge to just help him to process the paper. That's full open access. While hybrid open access is like hybrid cars. You can choose whether to publish in open access or traditional. While the traditional journal, most of which nowadays are only on magazines, these are the journals which only publish traditional papers, no open access. So majority of our journals actually falls under either hybrid or full open access. It provides the option for authors to publish in open access, greater visibility, faster submission to peer review, to publication time frame. And this is the list of all our IEEE journals through this website. You will be able to find whether a particular journal provides open access publishing options, and more importantly, the quartile of the journal, whether a journal is in Q1 or Q2. For more information, you can refer to these two websites, IEEE Open or IEEE Access. For manuscript preparation, I'm not going to go through the details because this part actually requires a lot of readings and practice of writings from your end. The general structure and components of the paper are similar for all the papers. Start with the title, followed by abstracts, introduction, methods, results, discussion, which form the body, ending the paper with a reference. The reference lists are generally prepared by using, or rather with assistance of reference management software to help you with the formatting or proper citation styles. But for the rest, I'm afraid you have to type out yourself. The whole idea from the title to the conclusion, including the reference, is when we are writing the paper, we need to make sure that we are writing for the readers. The purpose of this paper, after it's published, is meant for other readers to find the paper and read the paper. The title itself, including the abstracts, are meant to gain the reader's attention so that the reader will decide whether he or she will continue to read the full text. I mean, we are all researchers and students. When you are searching in Google Scholar, for example, you get a list of results. Are you going to read all the PDF or all the single results? I doubt so. Sometimes we just skip. We are selective. What makes you to decide to skip the paper? And what makes you to decide to read and read the full text? Is because when you are reading the title, you find out, oh, this title, or rather this research is not relevant. Or you read the abstracts. What they are describing in this research in abstracts is not what I'm looking for. So that's why you skip. The same goes for your readers. When they are reading your paper, they are doing the same. So the whole idea is you need to write your whole paper as a coherent one piece of work so that your readers will be able to gain what he or she is looking for from every single part of it. Introduction is meant to build the bridge from the existing research to the hypothesis. And when you are writing the introduction, we need to bear in mind who are the readers. Our readers are not high school students. Our readers are someone with fundamental knowledge. They may not be familiar with the specific research topic you are working on. That's why the introduction portion, the literature review, is meant to share with your readers the existing research related to your specific research topic, not teaching them the fundamentals of physics and mathematics. The methodology portion is meant to explain, or rather describe how you solve the problem. Experiment protocols, simulation designs, and all this. Yeah, this is a good illustration. Right, we will be sharing the PowerPoint deck of slides with everyone, so you don't have to worry about taking pictures. The whole idea, especially when it comes to methods and reporting of data, interpretation of data, is to convince your readers that my research is valid, my method works, and my data makes sense. And of course, the discussion and interpretation is to echo to what you are describing in the data portion by giving an explanation, an illustration, the impact and the benefit of your research, and of course, propose or suggest future areas of research. Reference lists only report those that are directly related, not everything that you have been reading. You might have been reading 100 papers, but not every single one of them is directly contributing to what you are describing in this piece of work. Can I have just a quick show of hands for participants here? Do you have an ORCID ID? Anyone? No? Okay. You can do a quick Google search about what this ORCID ID is. It's basically like something like your passport number to identify you from another researcher with the same name. So take myself, for example, Alex Liu, which is a common name everywhere. So how do I know who is who, right? So this unique ID is required when you are submitting to IEEE Journals. We will need your ORCID ID to identify who you are. Remember earlier we are doing the survey about what is our university name. The university name has to be unique, one name, and of course your name has to be one name as well. But we have common names. So that's why the ORCID ID comes to play. For more information, you can find out from Open Researcher and Contributor ID. This is your research passport. If you want to publish your research with an international publisher like IEEE, we need your ORCID ID. I'm going to do a quick submission live demo to show you the process of submitting to Open Access Journals. What are the procedures and what are the things you need to watch out? And in order for us to do that, I would like to invite you to come to our library website. I would like to invite you to come to our library website. Our library system is very secure. It asks me to identify I'm not the robots. Okay. Okay. Oh, again, sorry. Why? Okay, I'm done. So for on-site participants, you may want to join me as well for this live demo part. This is our library website. Once again, thanks to our librarians, thanks to our library. We have a lot of collections and services. As you can see, they even have a direct WhatsApp hotline. You can, if you have a question, you can ask our librarians. So under collections and services, these are all the collections, general collections, serials, ebooks. It's under this e-journals list. These are the major databases our library has been subscribing. IEEE is here. You can click on it. It will bring you to IEEE Explore Digital Library. As you can see, now we have 6.7 million publications. The general process of publishing always starts with reading. One of the commonly asked questions for researchers is, which journal should I submit? If you have this question, can you raise up your hand? So you are not worried about selecting journals? You know the journals? You guys are very humble. Very shy. Okay, so IEEE, out of the 6.7 million publications, more than 4.8 million is actually coming from conferences, while journals, we have over 1.5 million journal articles. If you talk about the total number of journals that IEEE publishes, we have 230 plus, coming to 240 titles. One of the key challenge for author is, once I have a research out of the 200 plus journals, which one should I submit? So the answer to the question actually comes from your readings. If your research is related to one specific subject, for example, machine learning is one of the topics our university is actually quite strong at. And if your research is related to machine learning, you want to find out what journals publishes machine learning topics. For IEEE Explore, the global search box allows you to search metadata, and you can use the quotation to do a precise search. And from here, you can find out hundreds of thousands of papers on machine learning. This is simply too many. And even for journals, there's over 53,000. But of course, your machine learning research might be related to a specific subject. For example, during the survey earlier, quite a number of us are coming from biomedic research. So you want to study about any topics which is related to biomedics research, you can use this thing called search within results. So you are searching within the 332,000 publications. Now you're down to 17. The more keywords you are adding, the more specific subset you are getting. And in this case, we are talking about 5,000 journals. And out of these 5,000 journals, which specific journal itself are they publishing? Number one is our multidisciplinary journal called IEEE Access, which published over 2,000. Right, that's about 40%. The next one, which is the big one, IEEE Journal of Biomedical and Health Informatics. This is very closely related. So all these titles could be your potential candidate of your paper submissions. Now the problem is, which one of these should I submit? Unfortunately, nobody else can answer that for you but yourself. Because we need to assess the level of these specific journals, then we will try to assess the level of my research. For example, I realize this is one of the key journals published this area of research. I will zoom in. What I need to do now is read. I need to read recent publications. That's where this year filter. And you realize for these areas of research, the first paper published from this journal is actually 12 years ago, which is a good sign, because what your research is on is in the emerging subject. Imagine this year, it shows 1913. We have research that's more than hundreds years ago that shows this is a research topic with a long history. If that's the case, you need to zoom in, for example, publications in the past 10 years. So that in this case, you can find out of the 1,100 publications, more than 1,000 of them is actually published in the past 10 years, which is good. Everything is happening in the past decade. This is the emerging research. And you need to further zoom into your priorities. You should read the most relevant publications, which is related to the research area, the newest research to understand what's the emerging trend in this particular domain, most cited papers by paper or by patents, if your research is related to application, innovations, and all this, so that you have a sense of the levels of impact of the papers that has passed the peer review. Because our ultimate goal is pass the peer review. Another commonly asked question is, what are the reviewers looking for? How do I make sure my paper passed the peer review? How do I make sure I answer all the reviewers' questions? Which part are the reviewers criticizing the papers in? So instead of asking the reviewers what they are looking at, another way is we are definitely reading research for our references. At the time of reading, why don't we put ourselves in the reviewers' chair? These are the papers that has been published, which means they have passed the peer review. They have been accepted by these top ranking journals. There must be a reason why this paper is accepted. So at the time of reading, we will try to put ourselves as a reviewer. If you are given this paper and you are asked to decide whether it's a yes or no, how do you evaluate? How do you assess this paper? What will you be looking at? And of course, at the same time, we are also sort of a competitor to those papers, because our goal is to publish. Same as all these. These has passed the test. So you can also learn from them what they have done right. For example, the description of, let's say, experimental protocols. They made a very clear description of all the criteria, observation conditions, and all this. So when I'm writing my paper, I will do that as well. Make sure all these are clearly described. Or the way they report the data, they are using, instead of table to report the numbers, they are putting everything on a graph. Let's say, which they even draw out the functions that matches perfectly with the graph. Makes sense to the readers. We learn what they are doing right. Of course, we also criticize something that they might be missing or something that I can do it better. So when it comes to your writings, you can improve on that. So once we have done all this assessment, as I was sharing earlier, nobody else can do it. You have to be the one assess journal, assess your own level of research, then make a judgment whether this journal is appropriate. All you have to do is click on this title of the journal. And we have IEEE Journals of Biomedics and Health Informatics, aim and scope. They will explain to you what subjects it covers. You can also check the earliest access latest publications, current publications. About journal, we'll explain to you more about publishing policy, peer review policies and requirement for these particular journals. And this publication is a hybrid journal. So that's why there's information about publishing fee, which is the article processing charges. This particular journal is actually sponsored by 3 societies. For every single IEEE journal, behind the journal, they're always supported by the societies. In this case, we are talking about Communication Society, Machine Learning. We are talking about EMBS, which is actually the world's largest professional organization body for bioinformatics professionals. And you'll be surprised, IEEE cover quite a lot of research on biomedical bioinformatics research for biomedical engineers. So this particular society, they publish not only these journals of biomedical and health informatics. If you scroll down, there is a list of a lot of other publications as well. Engineering in medicine and biology, translational engineering in health and medicine. So I started with one journal. I thought this journal is most relevant to me, but then I realized that the society behind this journal also publish other journals. And since my research is related to biomedics, I may be able to find these journals relevant as well. So you see the whole process is, we start with a lot of research papers. We zoom in to the specific journals. We find 1 or 2 or 3 or maybe 5 top journals. And once we find the journals, we find out what societies are behind the journal, and we check out what other journals the society is publishing. So it's from broad, narrow down, then extend again. The ultimate goal is it provides you a wider channel to source for information, not only for publication, but also for literature review. Because some of these journals, they are related to what you are doing, but not closely related. For example, they are talking about applications, implementations. But by reading this paper, you may come back to your original research to think about your application or collaboration to extend your existing research. Maybe not for this paper, but for your future research and for your next paper. That's how you build up your knowledge about IEEE journals. It's no longer about asking which journal should I submit. It's more about what research area I'm working on. Because IEEE, other than the journals, we also have societies behind to support your research, support your publications. The actual manuscript submission process is pretty straightforward. All you have to do is click on this submit manuscript. You will be brought to our IEEE author portal, which is an all-in-one website to handle your paper submission process. So if you don't have an account, you just register for an account. For me, I have an account. I will just log in. Once we are in, the process is as simple as sending an email. Except for one condition, which is we have to watch out how we key in our names, our emails, and our university names. So in this case, I have some pending submissions from other journals. I can resume submission here. If you look at the right-hand side here, on the right-hand side, it shows the progress. The article type, you have to define what article type we are submitting. There are various submissions for this particular journal. There's letter, review paper, original research. Original research refers to regular articles, falls into regular articles, and you confirm all these and proceed. You have to fill in, for example, upload your manuscript, title, abstract, author information. This is the part where you key in your names. Remember, I was asking you about, oops, something is wrong. Yeah. Okay. I think, let me go back to this progress board. You have a question from the chat? On the chat, for which? For the journal? Oh, someone from the chat is asking, what is the link of this submit manuscript link? This link is different depending on which journal. So your question is not asking for the link. Your question is, you need to know which journal you are submitting, right? It's like you want to send an email to our participants, to our friends. You need to know which friend. You need to know the name of the friend. Then you talk about the emails, right? So you should identify the journals first. Then on every journal page, it's all the same like this. Then you click on submit manuscript, right? So you get the idea. All you have to do is key in all the details and matching organizations. So show workshop history. I've been submitting, right? Under affiliations, option 1 is edit back to upload manuscript. Yeah. I have to upload a manuscript. Okay, in this case, I did not upload. But you get the idea. You upload the manuscript, key in the names of you as a researcher, the name of universities, which later I will come back to this portion to double confirm our university name. Earlier, you give me like 9 names, right? We have to decide one name for our university. So this is for submitting to journals. The same goes for submitting to conferences. The only difference is because the conferences listed in Explore has happened. So in that case, you have to come back to IEEE Explore homepage. At the bottom of it, there's this upcoming conference. We have this CO upcoming. We have a list of all the IEEE conferences. Well, we have passed the 1,800 line. 2 days ago, I was checking, the number is 1792. I think in 2 days, they're adding another 10 conferences. So these are the conferences we are organizing throughout the whole world. You can do a search using the keyword, for example, Internet of Things, biomedics, bioinformatics. You can also refine the search by conference date. As a researcher, as a student, you should plan your research. Right now, you are doing the research. When do you think your research will be ready? When do you think your paper will be ready? You should find a conference where the paper submission deadline is about the time where your paper is ready. The conference can be later. Or you can also use the location to find conferences. Indonesia is one of the countries that organize most number of conferences. You look at the numbers, they're like 17, 16. Canada has quite a bit. China has quite a lot given the country size. But if you come to Indonesia, we have 37, which is big, given our country size, right? So we already have 37 conferences happening. For each one of them, they are happening in Georgia, Bali, all the beautiful places, Jakarta. I'm not sure. Jakarta, I don't like the traffic jam. Yeah, Bali is better. Georgia, I like it. Surabaya as well. Yes, there's a conference happening in July. So let's check out this conference. All you have to do is click on it, and there's always this conference website. This is the most important website. All you have to do is click on it. All the information you need to know is here. It's actually happening in which university? It's us, right? We are hosting it. So you have this call for paper schedule. Please, if you are attending any conference, please check out the schedules, the call for paper, important dates. The submission is happening as early as last year. They have extended the final to, wow, okay, we still have like 6 days, less than a week. So you want to participate in this conference, you still have 6 days to finish your paper, submit your paper, right? And of course, by 20th of May, there's acceptance notification. And call for paper will tell you all the details about what topics they're presenting, the professors. You see, it's coming from our university. And the topics, the subjects is covering. And of course, everything you need to, oh yeah, there's further details here. Who is organizing it, together with IEEE Indonesia section, and scroll down, and all the others, right? Submission system is here. You can click on submission. They have all the information you need, the URLs for submitting your paper, as well as the requirement for the paper, the template for you to prepare your conference articles. So that's for conferences. All right, so that's a quick overview of the paper submission process. Next, let's take a look at the peer review, which happens after your paper submission. After the paper is submitted, there will be a pre-screening to just make sure your paper's research topic is exactly what this journal is covering. And of course, the paper's format meet the journal's requirement. If there's something wrong with the format, you still have a second chance. You just revise, make sure the format meets the journal's requirement, you can resubmit. The actual peer review happens after the pre-screening, which is where the reviewers are required to check the sort of going through, examine your paper, make sure your paper meets the requirement of the journals. And after that, they will send the comments to the editors. Editors make a decision, accept, revise, or reject. It's a common workflow for both journals and conferences. The only thing is for conferences, they may not have too much revisions given the time. As you can see just now, right? The submission deadline is 22nd. By 20th of May, in 3 weeks' time, less than 4 weeks, you'll be notified of the results. So revision for conference may not be that much. For journals, it's very common to have revisions, reviewers' questions that requires your additional comments, explanations, and everything. So this is a part maybe we can discuss a little bit about what the reviewers are looking for. Again, the most important thing is we have to keep in mind that the editors and reviewers' job is not to check your research is correct. That's a very bare minimum. The job of the editors and reviewers is to select articles that's appropriate for the level and the impact of this particular journal. And of course, that's why the scope is always number one. And that's why in earlier presentations, I was sharing with you, before you decide which journal to submit your paper, you need, you need to have a clear understanding of the level of research that this journal is publishing. Yes, I know it's Q1. I want to publish it's Q1, but I need to assess whether my level of research meets what this particular journal is looking for. The rest of them, validity, data, clarity, compliance, all of these, I would say this is not about your paper. This is about the research itself, the research design, the experimental protocols. It has to be valid. The data you are gathering and reporting has to make sense. So it goes back to your original research. The reason why a lot of papers are being rejected quite a number of times, it is also because it's just a mismatch. It does not match what this journal is looking for. Of course, there can be problem regarding the research or even your writings itself, because for most of us, English is actually our second language, so language can be an issue. But there are services or tools to help you to format or improve your language in that sense, but the research part still goes back to you. We'll briefly go through the author journeys, and this pretty much is a summary of what we have described so far. As this is a general workflow, whether you're submitting to journals or conferences. We start with planning of research, writing the paper, submitting the paper. Of course, after the paper is accepted, there will be a part which you are required to decide whether you want to publish in traditional or full open access. And after that process, you'll be required to pay the article processing charge. And in this case, we all should thank our libraries, thank our librarian for the support on the APC fundings. I think so far, all our tokens have been used, right? The faster fingers gets the best. So if your aim is to publish in open access with IEEE, you can still publish as of now, but there are two options. One is you talk to our library, seek for additional support, or you can talk to your supervisors to see whether you have additional fundings for the support. But our library and our local partners, Mr. Ramdan has been continuously talking about this. I believe in the near future, we will also continue our support with our APC fundings. So that's an overview of the journal. Now, it's a little bit different if you are talking about the full OA and the hybrid. For the full open access, after the peer review, there will be two possible outcomes. One, of course, if the paper is rejected, that's it. You don't need to talk about anything about publishing. It won't be published. It's rejected. If your paper is accepted, then the corresponding author or the corresponding author's institution, in this case ITS, has to pay the article processing charge. And once that is being processed, the paper will be published. So for full open access, because every single paper is published as open access, you don't have much of a choice. If you are submitting to a full open access, you will know your paper will be published as open access. For hybrid open access, your decision happens after your paper is accepted. After your paper is accepted, then you have a choice to either publish traditional, which means without paying the APC, or publish as open access. Only if you decide to publish as open access, then either you yourself or your institution will pay the article processing charge. Your paper will be published as open access. But if you are still publishing as traditional, which you still have the option, your paper will still be published. Your readers can still access it. It's just that your readers have to pay or subscribe to read your paper. But as an author, you don't have to pay the article processing charge. So that's for hybrid journals. No matter which case it is, you still need to make sure you need to write your names correctly, your institution names, and your institutional email address. This is very important. So in this case, I'm using a wrong example. It says institution does not match. So that's, I'm using not a university, but for your university, you need to write properly your university name. This is your university's official name. So please do not write you are from ITS. You should write the full name in Bahasa. That's the full name. That's where the system can identify you are from ITS. And you also have to make sure use your institutional names. Technically speaking, you can use either one of them. But we would like to let you know the safest way is to make sure both of them are correct. Use your proper full university name. Use your authorized university email address. That's the way that at the back end, we will know you are from ITS. If our library has a support, we'll automatically match the fundings for your IPC request. So this is very important. After your paper is accepted for hybrid journal, you can choose whether you want to publish in open access or hybrid. You will come across this screen. And for whatever happens after that, after this, for example, the copyright selections, you are required to select either CC-BY or CC-BY-ND. That's okay. You don't have to worry if you are not familiar, because we have very clear instructions in the emails as well as in our paper submission platform to guide you along all these procedures. So that's pretty much about publishing and submitting the papers for IEEE Open Access Journals. Just make sure your university names and your email address are correct. To wrap up this session, section, the last thing we'd like to discuss about is about ethical publishing, some of the publishing ethics, as well as our policies on AI publishing. So for this portion, I will invite Ms. Rachel to quickly share about this. Thank you.
I got to make my money by showing that I'm working. Probably one of the first questions we get from users right now is how much is of my writing can be borrowed from other sources before the plagiarism checker flags my paper as plagiarized. And we can't give you that number. Obviously, that's something that we do not share. But for those of you that are starting your first paper, the very first step every manuscript goes through is the plagiarism checker. So I'm sure here at the university, when you write a paper, probably the same thing happens. It goes through iAuthenticate or whatever software that your professors use. This is so important to make sure that your article does not get flagged as plagiarized. So how do you do that? Well, if you are using other people's research in any part of your paper, you need to cite the source. So cite who you are, whose ideas you are using. So you put that in the reference list. If you are directly quoting another source, obviously that is the same thing. You put quotation marks around that block of text and then cite the source in your reference list. So if there's something more odd going on, like you are citing yourself, perhaps you have a previous paper that you are citing, you cite yourself. You have to cite everything that has been published beforehand, or you will set off that plagiarism checker. So that's so important. On the author portal, and once you see the links at the end of this, there is a lot of information about this topic, and you can really read about what's accepted and what's not accepted. Yeah. You need to, obviously you are submitting original work. Most important tip today, do not submit your manuscript to multiple journals. That is a big taboo because if you get accepted, you have just wasted a lot of people's time. Peer reviewers are volunteers. They're not getting paid to peer review. If they accept your paper, they expect to publish your paper. And if you have another author that is decided to go off and submit to another journal or a conference, you have just pretty much destroyed your chance at getting published. So only submit to one journal at a time, and you have to be patient and wait for the response from the peer reviewers at that point. If you are using artificial intelligence to help with your grammar, your spelling, perhaps you just want to polish your English in your paper, that is okay, but you absolutely need to say that in the acknowledgements section of the paper. So if you go look, we have some examples of IEEE Access papers, and acknowledgements is kind of in the bottom left-hand corner. It's a lot of times where you see the author's email addresses, whether they're thanking their mother or something like that. That's in that corner. And you would say, I use Grammarly to help polish my English for this paper. And that's what you need to do. It's mandatory that you reveal that to the editors when you are submitting. So that's very important. Obviously, if you're using AI in your research, like let's say you're using an AI tool and you're researching that, you would also put that in your citations as well. There's a software format in the IEEE style guide. Again, that information is on the author portal. Oh, sorry, author center. And here is where you would need to go. The author center has all of this information and much more. Yeah, I'm not sure what you've covered so far, so I'll let you take it from there. But AI, obviously, that's a big topic, and there's a whole section of the author center that talks about AI. But absolutely reveal that you've used it so that you don't harm yourself when you're going through the publication process. Yeah, sure.
Thank you, Rachel. As Ms. Rachel shared, a lot of information can be found on this website, IEEE Author Center. It has tools to help you to recommend journals to submit the papers, where you can download the article template. I think now is a good time for me to stop this, and I will bring you back to IEEE Author Center, and let's walk through all the tools and services we are providing to our researchers. So IEEE Author Center, you can do a very quick Google search, IEEE Author Center. If you cannot remember the URL, all you have to do is just do a Google search. The first one is the results. The URL is actually very simple. IEEE Author Center is one word, .ieee.org. It has all the information you need to know, for example, about writing. We have videos to explain to you the details of choosing the right publications, writing your manuscript, the structure, components, peer review process, all this. And furthermore, we have dedicated sections, for example, for new authors, for journal authors. So if for today's discussion, we are talking about open access publishing with journals. If your aim is to prepare for a journal paper, we have tools and templates which you can download to prepare your article template. And from here, depending on the format you are using, Word or LaTeX, whether you are writing for a conference or a journal, you can download from here. Let's say we are writing for transactions, select the specific title, always submit original research with us, and you can just download the document. The document actually looks like, template looks like this. Sorry. Yeah, but never mind. You can download the article template, extract the document, and you'll be able to read the, that's the thing with Zoom, you keep switching windows. This is the article templates. It's a full 6-page document, which is readable. It is a technical paper. To me, I read it as a technical paper. It will explain to you what's required in the abstract section, what's included in the introduction, how should you number the tables and charts, how should you cite equations in text. And of course, at the end, they will also explain the proper style for reference citations, citation style for references, right? So this is the template. Of course, in IEEE Explore, we also have a lot of other tools. So if we come back to here, IEEE Author Center, we have tools for preparing LaTeX. For finding a journal, we have this thing called Publication Recommender. And there's a video sharing with you how you should, what tools you can use in terms of selecting the right publications. This Publication Recommender will suggest articles, suggest journal titles based on the research topic that your paper is working on. So for example, on biomedical topics, we have 169 journals published research on this. You may want to also pay attention to these 3 columns, especially for master and PhD students, because if your aim is to publish with open access, you should try to aim to submit to a paper, to a journal which accept open access. For example, this one, open access available or open access only. You may not want to submit to this journal, which is actually one of our IEEE magazines, because it says no open access, right? So submitting to this is a no-go. The impact factor, as well as the submission to publication timeline, if as a master student, you have a limited time to work with, this might have some impact. But for our researchers, this may not be an issue, right? You have plenty of time. So this is Publication Recommender. Of course, the other tools in IEEE Author Center, I will leave it for you to explore. Just keep in mind, it has all the information you need. And other than this Publication Recommender, which tells you the open access availability for individual journals, we strongly recommend you to visit this website, which is open.ieee.org. I always type out the URL so that you remember this is a very simple URL, bookmark it. Or you just do a Google search, IEEE Open, it's the same. It has all the information you need to know about this particular, about IEEE's Open Access program. We even have quite a detailed FAQ list to explain to you further details about hybrid, about full OA. Furthermore, we also list down the institutions which has APC funding support for our students. So for our universities, these are the universities. Under Indonesia, this is the few. ITS is here, right? The only thing is Fast Fingers already got them. So next time you may want to submit your paper faster. Brawijaya is here as well. And we recommend you to download or rather refer to this IEEE title list under publishing options. This has everything you need to know about IEEE individual titles. So looking at this list, it has the publication title. It will tell you what are the new titles we just released last year or this year. And if we move our cursors here, we'll be able to identify whether the journal has an open access publishing options, full hybrid, or if you are looking for quartile information, we also have quartile information Q1, Q2, or Q3. So this is a very useful document for you to refer to when you are trying to find journals to submit your papers. So if we think about it throughout the whole journey, coming back to the question, which is which journal should I submit the paper? You have at least 3 tools along your searching journey. The first one, and of course, the most important one is IEEE Explore. That's a platform which we find our references, read the paper, identify what journals are suitable. They will tell me the subject relevancy. And after that, you can use the publication recommender to double check. That one is more for confirming whether the journal accepts open access, as well as the impact factors or the submission to publication timeline. And of course, most importantly, you always have this, the full IEEE title list at your fingertip to refer to so that you have a whole pictures. So you have all these tools for you to select and identify. All right. The last slide I would like to show, which is actually just a recap. If there's one thing I want you all to bring back, it's just these 3 websites. As an author, as a researcher, these 3 websites pretty much provides everything that you need. Author Center has the hand, like holding your hand in hand kind of explanations and all the details for researchers and authors. IEEE Open Access page explains all the details you want to know about publishing in open access. And I should say the first and foremost, the most important website is IEEE Explore Digital Library, because bear in mind, if your paper is published, that's where your paper will appear as well. All right, so that's the last thing from my presentation here. Let me stop sharing and let's see if there's any questions. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Alex, for your fast explanation about the APC and open access. Terima kasih banyak, Alex, sudah menjelaskan secara rinci mungkin mengenai bagaimana caranya kita submit sampai dengan apa yang harus dilakukan setelah selesai di peer review dan siap ditayang. Baik, sedikit summarize untuk yang saya tangkap. Yang pertama adalah ada lebih 6,7 juta artikel di IEEE Explore. Saya bisa bilang 90% di dalamnya itu bisa diakses oleh ITS. Yang tidak itu hanya e-learning dan beberapa mungkin e-books. Jadi bisa digunakan sebaik-baiknya. Selain itu, ada 3 tadi yang saya tangkap mengenai apa saja yang bisa membantu kita untuk bisa submit di IEEE Explore. Yang pertama adalah IEEE Author Center, yang kedua IEEE Open Access, dan yang ketiga tentu saja dari IEEE Explore-nya sendiri, begitu. Oke, mengenai tadi kalau mau submit apa saja yang harus diperhatikan. Yang pertama adalah cek email affiliation-nya. Yang kedua, cek nama institusi yang terdaftarnya atau ringgongnya nanti mungkin bisa ini. Seperti itu. Itu saja summarize-nya. Saat ini kita akan ada sesi diskusi dan tanya jawab. Saya ingin fokuskan dulu ke yang offline. Kalau memang ada yang mau bertanya. For your information, teman-teman, bapak-bapak, ibu-ibu, saat ini memang ITS berlangganan APC token. Tetapi untuk tahun ini itu sudah habis. Jadi nanti akan diperpanjang insya Allah ya Ibu, Bapak ya. Kami harapkan diperpanjang lagi untuk tahun depan, begitu. untuk akhir tahun ini begitu. Kalau tidak ada yang untuk yang pertanyaan offline, ya untuk kalau ada pertanyaan untuk yang offline itu kami ada gift menarik sebenarnya. Jadi bisa tunjuk tangan, kalau pakai bahasa Indonesia nanti akan saya coba untuk sampaikan ke Alex atau Miss Rachel. Terima kasih. Ini bingkisannya. Ya, tiga penanya ya. Ayo yang offline dulu. Kalau tidak ada, saya. Oh, oke, silakan Bapak.
Should I go?
Yes. Ya, selamat pagi, Pak.
Selamat
Good
pagi.
morning. Ya, saya perkenalkan, nama saya Setiawan. Saya seorang librarian. Saya mau bertanya itu, apakah ada limitasi dalam mendownload itu suatu artikel? Yang kedua, itu berapa lama reviewer setelah artikel diterima, setelah itu diterbitkan? Setelah author menerima paymentnya itu berapa lama, dalam arti waktu kita mengusulkan untuk artikel itu berapa lama, totalnya itu maksudnya. Itu aja Pak, makasih.
Oke. Do you understand the question? No. Oh. Okay, the first question is how much article can we download in IEEE Explore? Is there any limit?
As much as you like.
Itu. Jadi memang untuk download itu tidak ada limitnya Bapak ya.
No limit.
No limitnya, tidak ada
Now,
limitnya.
we don't want you to create your own digital library. So you have unlimited downloads for your own personal research, but you would not download huge archive of the content and start your own business, your own library. But for your own personal research, absolutely unlimited. We want you to use the papers in IEEE.
Oke. Thank you Rachel. Jadi memang sebenarnya tidak ada limit dalam kita mendownload suatu artikel selama itu memang sesuai dengan kebutuhan kita. Ada beberapa kasus mungkin dia lagi maybe he's bored and then he start to download from issue 1 to issue 10 simultaneously. Secara simultan terus dari download issue 1 issue sampai dengan 10 saya pernah mendapatkan itu dan mendapatkan warning 1 kali 24 jam suspend. Jadi memang tidak boleh sesuai dengan kebutuhan. Unlimited sesuai dengan kebutuhan. Seperti itu. Okay, the second question is how much time needed between submitting paper until the reviewer until the final decisions? Okay, thank you.
It differs dramatically from one journal to another, but we can say that if you are needing rapid publication, you need to have it quickly. There's only one journal at IEEE that guarantees that it's no longer than 6 weeks from submission to publication, and that is IEEE Access. For the rest of the content, for the rest of the titles, Alex showed you the Author Center and showed you the Publication Recommender and the chart. The chart says open access available, then how many weeks on average between submission to publication, and it is a very different number. Here we go. Yep. The very last column here, you can see 22.6 weeks, 16.3 weeks, 21 weeks. So for some of these, it might be over a year. But the reason why is we're getting thousands and thousands of submissions a month, and it just takes a very long time. So you have to be patient. If you want to be patient, you're going to get your paper in one of the top journals in the world, and you can feel very good about that. But if you cannot be patient, then you want to find a title that has a shorter submission to publication time, or use our big multidisciplinary journal, IEEE Access, which is the only one with rapid peer review, 4 to 6 weeks.
Oke, silakan deh. Mas.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Alex, for your information today. And okay, I have some question. Okay, for the first time, it's about the in
dalam
English
bahasa
and
Indonesia.
in Indonesia. Oke, pertama, apakah ada perbedaan? Apakah kalau author kita tuh sebagai author student member IEEE ataukah tidak untuk ke arah publikasinya? Apakah dari IEEE itu melihat dari author condition, is it like student or IEEE or any others? Then the second is about the in hybrid condition is open access or hybrid. The hybrid, jadi sebelumnya saya sudah beberapa publikasi di beberapa jurnal, dan kondisinya adalah di hybrid adalah pilihannya adalah di awal mau dia open atau tradisional. Nah, apakah ada perbedaan dari segi waktu publikasinya if we choose the hybrid? Maybe the open access is maybe faster than if we choose the traditional. Then the ketiga, for the third is
Dua dulu Pak ya.
tuh, oke, thank you. Okay.
Okay, the first question is there any difference if we are the IEEE members or not? Then we submit that to the IEEE journal. Is there any difference in time or?
No, there's no difference. Membership gives you a lot of benefits, but doesn't give you really anything special for publication. We don't have any program for student members, you know. I think the only thing I can think of that might be a benefit is that sometimes there is scholarship money available to attend a conference. So if you are very motivated and you submit to a conference and get accepted, you may be able to qualify for assistance to travel to the conference with your student membership. You can look at and see if the society has funds available for students to travel. But I think that's the only thing I can think of where there might be a benefit to publishing, and it's not journals for that. Yeah.
Okay, the second questions, if I remember. Oh yeah, for the hybrid journal, the process, the IEEE asks for do you want to open access or not? Or the traditional is in the first phase.
No. So it is actually the last thing that happens for a hybrid journal. When you are submitting, you don't have to decide. You are submitting your paper to the journal, and the journal will not ask you how you want to publish. Once you've been accepted, you will get a page in the submission system that asks you, how would you like this article to be published? Traditional or open access, but that happens at the end. Yeah, this is the
Jadi kalau
chart.
hybrid memang ditanyanya setelah papernya sudah siap submit gitu. Biasanya seperti itu atau Bapak pengalaman berbeda? Oh, di tempat lain. Oke, iya. The second question maybe, is there any time difference? No, I think yeah. Time difference between hybrid and then the open access or yeah.
Are you able to view this diagram? Can you see this? Yeah, okay. So after you see all this whole thing, right, until the peer review process and the results, you see the branch coming out, reject, accept. Until this stage, all the papers which are submitted to hybrid journals are treated equally. We don't ask you how you want to publish, no. It's only happened after your paper is accepted. We'll ask you, do you want to publish as traditional or hybrid? If Yeah, it's a day, as long as you tell us, right? Depending on how fast you tell us. If you are willing to publish as open access, we proceed as you wish. If you're willing to publish as traditional, we'll proceed as you wish. In the peer review process, paper acceptance, rejection, reviewers do not know what you are willing for. I think you also brought up a very big concern. Some people, they have a very wrong misunderstanding. It's like, oh, since you are charging me money, since I need to pay, can I ask for priority? You accept my paper? Or even, why don't you reject? I'm willing to pay. Why do you reject? That's not how IEEE works. We don't care whether you want to pay or not. We look at the quality first. If your quality is good, we will accept. We'll ask you, how do you want to proceed next? But of course, if you are talking about full open access, then full open access, you don't have the choice, because at the time of submission, we already told you our journal is open access. If your paper is accepted, every single paper will be published. You have to pay the APC. You don't have a choice. But still, we are looking at the paper. It doesn't mean that I'm willing to pay. Why don't you reject? Everybody is willing to pay. It's a full OA, right? So we don't care. It still goes back to the quality of the research, the quality of the paper. We hope that answers the question. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alex. There's one question offline.
Oke, terima kasih. Saya tuh mau nanya, beberapa di antara kami ini kan kebetulan juga ngajar di kampus lain gitu, bukan di ITS. Nah, kondisinya di kampus kebetulan belum subscribe ke IEEE-nya begitu. Nah, yang mau saya tanyakan itu nanti semisal kami balik ke kampus kan akses ITS-nya udah diputus tuh. Kalau mau publish di IEEE Journal, itu apakah nanti ada waiver atau diskon gitu untuk misalkan kami mau publish di IEEE atau seperti apa? Terus yang kedua tadi untuk orchid itu apakah opsional atau memang harus dibuat sebelum publish di jurnalnya IEEE begitu. Makasih Bapak.
Oke, terima kasih Ibu. The first one is there any connection between subscribing to submitting journal? Subscribing the IEEE Explorer, and that's the main questions. If I don't have the access to IEEE Explorer, can I submit the paper and have the waiver or anything else?
There is no connection really. I mean, an editor does not know who you are. It's a anonymous peer review. So anonymous means that your reviewers don't even know your name, your gender, your nationality. They just see the paper. So you could be anyone. You could be someone that is a teenager and you've written a good paper. So there's absolutely, that's called anonymous peer review. So two reviewers have but as far as subscribe.
Ya, bagaimana Ibu?
Mohon maaf, mungkin pertanyaannya saya izin perjelas. Jadi ini terkait biaya APC gitu. Kalau di ITS kan itu ada bantuan token tadi ya. Nah, kalau misalkan nanti kami nih udah lulus dari ITS gitu, apakah ada semacam bantuan kayak diskon atau waiver gitu untuk negara berkembang misalnya? Gitu, Pak.
Is there any discount for the ex-student ITS, ex-student of Institute Teknologi 10 November? No.
Ex-student, you mean alumni?
Alumni, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, alumni.
No.
Okay.
Once you've stopped being a student or associated with the university, all the benefits that you have enjoyed, your subscription, your APCs, those all unfortunately go away.
Apakah seperti itu, Ibu? Atau oke, iya. Yang pertanyaan, the second question is it mandatory to have a ORCID ID?
Yes.
Yes. That's the simple question. It's simple answer for the ORCID ID. Yes, we have to have the account.
Takes 10 minutes to fill out the form. It's absolutely free. There's no reason not to do it. If you are a woman who gets married and changes her name, then you really want an ORCID ID because your career will change names. So it takes very little time, very little effort, absolutely free. There's no reason not to do it. And it is mandatory with IEEE Journals that you must have an ORCID ID.
Apakah sudah terjawab khususnya untuk pertanyaan yang pertama? Oke. Okay, we have 3 questionnaire from the offline and then we will go to the online questionnaire. The first one is Bapak Rudi Winarto.
Yes, I see Rudy's because it's in English. I can answer it.
Oh, okay.
He's asking about a specific strategy in submitting a journal manuscript. He's got an amazing list of keywords here, which is perfect because once you know your keywords of what your subject area is about, you are halfway there to finding the right journal. So you can do a couple different things. You can go directly to that publication recommender and throw all those keywords into the search engine and see what journals or conferences the engine recommends for you, and then it'll give you all the details as Alex has shown before. Or you can do the search on IEEE Explore of those keywords and see maybe journals from like the last 2 years, and then use that left-hand facet to find out which journals are publishing with those keywords. Then you really do need to read the articles in those journals. So use your university subscription, download the last couple of journal issues for that title. And as you were asking, like, how much math do you need? How many algorithms do you need? You'll get a very good sense of what kinds of papers the current editor is accepting by reading the full text of the last, let's say, 3 or 4 issues of those journals. So A, publication recommender on the IEEE Author Center. B, go to Explore, do the search with your keywords, see what journals show up, and then read those table of contents from the last 2 or 3 issues to get a sense of the scope, the level, the quality of the content. Oh, you're just Alex is demoing like crazy. But Rudy, that's a great question and good luck to you. I hope that you find the right journal. It sounds like you're in the right place.
Thank you,
Thank
Rachel.
you. Thank you.
The next question is from Pak Jainal. How much is the APC after being accepted into IEEE Access?
Alex knows, I don't remember.
We recommend our researchers to refer to this website, which is open.ieee.org. Let me just reopen the page. This is the website. It has all the information for authors. For example, if the question is related to article processing charges for specific journals, you can look for this section. And it also provides a very good explanation of what this APC, article processing charge, is about. It is not a money to get your paper accepted. No, it's just to process it. So as you can see, for IEEE Access, we have 1 category. Then for hybrid journal and for the full open access journal, the different pricing range. These are the informations for your references. Of course, if you have further questions, please always reach out to our library, reach out to our librarian. We'll work together with our library to provide your support regarding, we'll work together with ITS libraries to provide supports regarding your queries on open access publishing. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Another questions. From Bapak Ahmad Firdausi, I would like to ask if ITS have the APC programs. The answer is yes. How to use the APC programs? As for now, the APC token is already finished. So maybe we will look at the around August or September. Kita akan lihat lagi di bulan Agustus atau September untuk APC-nya. Jadi saat ini memang sudah habis dulu ya tokennya Pak Ahmad Firdaus. Paper saya saat ini sudah diaccept di IEEE Access dan sudah sampai di tahap tanda tangan copyright. Alex, as far as I know, for the IEEE Access, the question about how you will fund the paper, it is in the first question before submitting the paper, right?
That's full open access.
Yeah,
which means
for the IEEE Access. Yeah, full
for
open access.
IEEE access, yes,
Yeah.
yes. Because for IEEE access is a full open access journal, a multidisciplinary. Every single paper published is going to be published as open access. So if you are going to submit your paper to IEEE access, before you even submit, you have to ask. You have to ask yourself, do you have the funding, the support, either from the university, from the library, or from your own research fund? Because if your paper is accepted, you will be required to pay the article processing charge.
Oke. Baik, terima kasih Pak Ahmad Firdausi, penanya online kita. The another question is from Pak Ari. I don't really understand the question actually. Where I can get information regarding IEEE International Conference flagship, so I can have an opportunity to write in journal IEEE with free APC. Yeah.
The question itself is a little bit mixed. We are talking about three totally different things. It's like I want to go to aeroplane and grow crops and drink wine. These are totally different things, right? So allow me to answer each section of them. The first one, of course, Pari, maybe you want to correct me if I'm wrong. The first one, I think what he was trying to ask is, where can I find information about IEEE conferences, the important conferences? So if you recall earlier during the live demo, which I show you the IEEE Explore homepage, this is the part where we are looking at the IEEE conference list. Remember how we end up this page? At the bottom or Explore. Yeah, so sorry. Yeah, so see all upcoming. So we end up with the list of IEEE conferences. That's where you can find the list of all the IEEE conferences. Yeah, or you can just browse the conference. These are conferences that has happened in the past. So this is one. The second part of his question is about how to find IEEE journals list, which is the one. Oh, it's okay. No. So the second one is about how to find IEEE journals titles. Again, you can also browse here, or you can do a search, find relevant journal titles. The last part is about free APC. There's no free APC. The APC is free because our library is supporting it. And as Juan was saying, currently the APC has all been consumed. Fast Fingers already got it. So I think Mr. Ramdan and our library are working on it. So once our library gets the new APC token, then you can start using it. Yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. Okay, the next question is in English. So Miss Dwi Harini.
Okay, so this is about AI tools for improving grammar. No, there's no maximum thresholds. Yes, we do have a system that checks AI. So as I said before, the very first thing that your paper goes through, even before it gets sent to the editor, is it goes to an anti-plagiarism check. That check will detect language that doesn't sound generated by a human or generated by is borrowed from another source, and it could set off a red flag. So you absolutely need to write in the acknowledgements that you used AI in the polishing of your grammar. And you can see examples of this today on IEEE Explore, where people have said, we have used AI, and they'll say even which tool to polish our grammar. Obviously, you wouldn't want AI to polish your grammar in the science part, the methodology, your own personal, the research, the algorithms. I mean, there's no way AI is going to be able to write all of that. It's going to be in the more descriptive text, the text that is the introduction, perhaps, etc. But we don't really have any kind of limitation.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. Is there any question from online or offline? I'm preparing the souvenir. Ada lagi pertanyaan mungkin Bapak, Ibu, teman-teman? Baik, tadi ada 3 orang penanya yang offline ya. Kalau boleh, saya ingin ada sedikit gift untuk yang penanya, bisa maju ke depan, nanti akan secara simbolis akan diberikan oleh Mr. Alex. Terima kasih. Di sini boleh, tapi second sendiri yang nanti mungkin. Satu, dua, tiga, lima. Tapi beda-beda juga ya. Okay, thank you so much, Alex and Rachel, for your explanation and for your time. And then we have a wonderful Q&A after this and sharing and discussion. So I think we're in the last line of our discussion. Saya kembalikan lagi kepada pembawa acara. Sebelumnya terima kasih banyak untuk perhatian dari yang offline, peserta offline maupun yang peserta online. Mohon maaf apabila banyak kesalahan yang kami berikan. Semoga semua ini bisa bermanfaat bagi kita semua supaya kita bisa menjadi author yang lebih baik, entah itu di IEEE Explore ataupun di publisher lainnya. Baik, saya serahkan kepada Ibu untuk Ibu pembawa acara. Terima kasih.
Tepuk tangan yang meriah, beri aplaus kepada narasumber dan moderator. Akhirnya kita sampai di penghujung acara. Sebelumnya saya sampaikan kami selaku panitia mengucapkan terima kasih sebesar-besarnya kepada narasumber berdua, kepada Pak Moderator, dan seluruh peserta yang hadir di sini, baik offline maupun online. Dan tak lupa kami, keluarga besar Perpustakaan ITS, saya Yeni Anita Gonti mewakili panitia yang bertugas, mengucapkan terima kasih sebesar-besarnya dan semoga acara ini bermanfaat bagi kita semua dan menambah wawasan semangat baru untuk publikasi internasional Anda ke depannya, khususnya melalui jurnal IEEE. Oke, akhir kata, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, sampai jumpa di event selanjutnya. Di akhir acara sebelumnya kita foto bersama, sesi foto bersama ya. Kepada para peserta yang hadir di sini, diharapkan maju untuk sesi foto bersama. Terima kasih. Take picture.